for this. I have the absolute pleasure in introducing Franchon Crews Dezurn, who is the super middleweight women's champion of the world, looking in fine fettle and in shape, having been in lockdown for the last 8 weeks. No?
Yeah, I mean, if you see my Instagram live, you see my husband's not playing with me. We're working out hard now.
It's brilliant. I mean, obviously, you know, the two of you are locked down together. Are you in? Are you in Virginia?
We're actually in Maryland.
You're in Maryland. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was due to head down there. In April the 18th, I want to say. There was a card there. Luke Campbell was fighting Javier Fortuna there. I was going to head down there from New York.
Yeah.
But of course, it all went pear-shaped a month earlier. So
Yeah.
you're locked down with Hub. Is it just the two of you there at home?
It's me, him, and our 2 cats. So it's crazy.
And what are the cats like then? Are they big cats? Been this period of big cats, or are they kind of like handleable ones?
One of them, my oldest cat, he's about 9 years old. He's a tabby. He's regular size. He's pretty healthy. The other one, I think he's like a mixed breed because he is really, like they call me, he's really beefy. I mean, you hug him, he takes up the whole half of my body. So, you
Wow.
know, he's just my snuggle bear.
Well, I've been fascinated by you since I met you 4 years ago, November 2016. It was your pro debut. You were fighting Claressa Shields. It was on the undercard of Ward and Kovalev 1, Andre Ward and Sergei Kovalev. It was a brilliant night of boxing. It was only about the 4th or 5th event at the T-Mobile Arena. We'd had some major events before that. And you had war with Claressa Shields, and a lot of us described it as the female Hagler Hearns that night. I mean, just tell us about that war as a debut and facing Claressa Shields in your first fight.
Yeah, so me and her have a rich history, and actually we were both in we were out of town. We were in Kazakhstan earlier, like 2 or 3 months earlier at the World Championships. I medaled, she won a gold, I won a bronze, and I was like, okay, you know, she's going to the Olympics. I want to keep fighting. I'm gonna go try for 2020. But out of the blue, I get a phone call from her manager and was like, hey, would you go pro on the Kovalev HBO undercard? And I'm sitting there on the couch with my husband because I hadn't started training camp. It's probably about 2 weeks before the actual fight day. And I'm on the couch with my husband. I'm like, yo, they just asked me to go pro on like this huge stage. Yeah. And I'm just like, you know what? F it. Why not? You know? Yeah. So I made a decision. I had to cut like a lot of weight and get myself in the best shape as possible. But going into the fight, I'm always mentally prepared because I'm a champion. I'm an elite fighter. And I just knew that this was not just for me. Like, I already knew if I didn't knock her out, I wasn't going to get the decision. But I understood the platform and the responsibility we both had. So I said, you know what? I'm going there. We're going to fucking fight.
It was unbelievable, though. Because it's how I got to meet you properly, really. Because, like, half an hour after your fight, and it was like you both just threw down, didn't you? I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, it lit up. It was the fight of the night, frankly. And it lit up the arena. And people were out of their seats. People couldn't sit still.
Dave Chappelle, the comedian Dave Chappelle, actually came up to me and was like, that's one of the best fights I've seen. Like, female men, that's one of the best fights. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was just like, it was a great moment for me. Win, lose, or draw, it was like one of the best moments of my career.
No, because I bumped into you when you were heading out through one of the kind of exit tunnels with your entourage. It was like half an hour after the fight, you were made up again. And because you come out of the ring with bruises, I don't know if there are any cuts, but makeup was on. You were in a beautiful dress. You were in your heels. You were off out to celebrate the night in Vegas, your debut. I mean, is that depiction of, you had me at that anyway. Let me say, you had me at that, because I thought, wow, this is definitely an extraordinary person. And And does that reflect you in lots of ways, that you are 100%er, that you are totally involved in whatever you're doing?
Yes, I mean, it's an expression. Like some people, they vent and they express through dance or art or singing, which is one of my other things I do. And I feel like with boxing, um, when I'm in it, I'm in it. Like I go hard, no hold nothing back. And it's like how you have a rhythmic dancer, because my style, I can do conventional boxing. I'm very technical when I want to be or when I have the opportunity to be. But when I'm fighting, it's drama. Like it's like a play. You're like, wow, she's wild. Wow, she's strong. She's not going to give up. So I'm giving people a show. And then when I'm outside the ring, that's more of the Franchon side of me, the diva, the woman, and just, the businesswoman and everything else.
Let me take you back then, because Franchon Crews Dezurn, it sounds like like you say, like an artiste,
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you were raised in Virginia.
Hmm.
Tell me about you growing up, and are you one of many siblings? What was the young Franchon like? The very young Franchon.
The same as I am now, just a little unrefined. I've always been a fighter. I have all brothers. Um, I will fight boys. I will fight girls. I will fight the teachers. And I was very intelligent. So I went to magnet school, which was like an advanced school for academics. But I've always been different. I've just been different. I could fight a lot, but I had so many talents and I just had to get ways to express them. So whatever outlet I had, that's what I did. And I moved to Baltimore when I was coming into my teenagehood, and that kind of like changed me in a different way too.
Well, have you kind of describe someone who's very artistic, intelligent, but maybe doesn't fit in to the normal scheme of things. So were you like a rebel growing up then?
Yeah, it's like, all right, so in school you had the really pretty girls, you had the girls who could dress real good, you had like the athletic girls who the gymnasts, you had the girls who were like nerdy, and I was none of that. I was just like people knew me. I could fight and I was crazy. So I've always had like my own lane. And I guess you could say I was a rebel because I did things my way.
Why were you fighting with people at that age? Obviously, you found out you could fight. Why were you fighting? Was it because people, were they racist? Did they criticize you, or because I know what many fighters are like. They're not people making fights, but they won't back down from them. You know.
So I've had instances where I was big for my age, not fat. I look mature for my age. So I had older girls try me, like wanted to fight me for no reason because I was different. And then like with the boys, I'm not going to sit there. My mother raised me to be strong. Like you're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to treat me any kind of way. So I felt like I was strong enough. And then um I was a little bully. I was the type of bully, so forgive me. I was the type of bully that the people I bullied, it was never from like a super malicious place. It was just like, for shits and giggles. But if somebody else like tried to bully them and hurt them and be like super mean to them, I would defend them. So I was a bully with a good heart. And I don't know. Just people don't, I don't know. They just couldn't take my energy. I've been very different.
So are you the youngest with lots of older brothers then?
Yeah, I have one brother who's younger than me, but my other two brothers are older than me. I have one brother, he's yeah, he's older than me. So he would never let me hang out with him because I was too young. And just, when we both became adults, when I became an adult, that's when we could start hanging out.
So did you? So presumably then, you having fights formulated into boxing at some point. Was it just boxing, or did you do other martial arts, or how did it occur?
I don't so why wasn't I fighting? When I was in Virginia, those things are why. But like I said, when I moved to Baltimore, it changed me because now I was the totally different person. I had a different accent. I looked different. I did things different. So people, when you're different, they kind of attack you or they attach to you. So then I had to fight there because I was a new kid on the block. Um, my goal was to be a singer, and I had to lose weight. So that's the whole. I only started boxing to lose weight. I never like thought about being a professional boxer or anything.
So tell me about the singing then, because that sounds fascinating. You look like you could sing as well. You look like you could sing Aretha Franklin. You look like you could do hip hop.
Yeah.
You look like you could do Adele. I
Yeah.
mean, have a little sing now or not?
Yeah, I sing and I songwrite now, a little bit behind the stage. And as you know, like my boxing career, my pro boxing career kind of like took over everything. But now I'm kind of in a situation where I can still do those things. It's more so wanting to accomplish them because I set out an original goal to do those things. Um, yeah, I was on American Idol when I was younger. My mother, she became very sick. We actually watched me on American Idol from her hospital bed. And around the same time she was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease was the same time that I started pursuing my amateur boxing career. And, she fought so hard. And every time she fought, every year I would come back with national titles, and people knew I was fighting for a purpose. Like people knew I'm fighting for mom, because every time I win, I'll say it was for my mother. So her health journey and my boxing journey like coincided with each other.
So it sounds like from having gone on things like an American Idol, how did you get on there? Were you nervous?
Yeah, I mean, people see it's a lot about perception because people think, oh, I'm going on American Idol. First thing I do is audition in front of the judges, and no, it wasn't like that. It was an experience. I was very young. This was the time they weren't taking super young participants. uh, you had 3 days worth of auditions before you even got to the main judges. They thought I was interesting enough as a boxer to come to Baltimore and send a camera crew. Actually, the first camera crew got into a car accident, so they actually still came. And it was a moment in time because I did declare on that show if I wasn't an American Idol, I would be the middleweight champion of the world. Fast forward to now, and I'm the super middleweight champion of the world.
So having done that, and your boxing career, you've reached world champion status. I'm sure you've got more you want to
Hell
achieve.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But are you going to get a musical career going at the same time as well?
Yeah, on my own terms. Like my goal this year is to complete an EP, which is, like 4 songs, 4 or 5 songs. I want to shoot a music video and also have other people do my music. So that's the beautiful thing about music. It's forever. Like you can be like a Quincy Jones or rest in peace, a Little Richard at those ages and still have music that's over the test of time or create new music. With boxing, you got to get in, get out, and make the most of it in that period of time.
Are both of those things, music and fighting, or testing yourself in that way, are they both a calling for you? Are they a calling from deep inside you?
Yes, yes. My music is my first love. Boxing is my second love, but I love them both kind of equally, I guess, um, because I'm confident in both. And it's been times people know me for in the amateurs and even the pros. Before a fight, they may hear me sing a song, sing loud and proud because that's me. That's something I know I'm great at. So if I'm already going to the ring being great at something, that's going to help translate into my boxing.
Maybe you should start doing what Tyson Fury does, which is to sing a song with the microphone every time you've had a fight and a victory.
Well, my last fight, I actually had dancers and a whole like performance. Um, I've been considering actually walking out singing a song like a war cry.
Nice. Yes, yes, yes.
My first fight, I wore my own when I fought Claressa. I wore my own uniform I created, and my walkout song was one of my own personal original songs.
Oh, okay. I must go back and listen to that. We didn't
Yeah.
know that at the time, did we?
No, no.
One of the things everyone's been moaning about, people with hair, is like we haven't been able to go to hairdressers. We still don't know when hairdressers are going to open. Now, you always have that cool kind of like, yeah, that shaved bit. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah, exactly. That can be, I don't know, dressed in so many different ways. And then when you have it back, when you fight, when you braid it, it's like warrior time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's been doing your hair?
Me. I mean, I had a little hair mishap in my last fight, but actually, I do my hair. My godfather is a celebrity hairstylist, and he lives very close to me. So if things go like from bad to worse, I can always go to him. But I'm blessed. I'm pretty self-sufficient.
Oh yeah, of course I remember now. You there was videos of you with it all coming off, and hey, you
Fuck
know.
that hair. I want the belts.
Now, just quickly on the belts. Obviously, you won the title. You defended it twice. You had this weird fight in January where I think Alejandra Jimenez was it split points decision.
Yes.
But then uh, she was taken from the title due to, was it a positive drugs test?
2 positive drug tests.
Positive drugs test. So are you reinstated as the champion now? And then you continue on?
I'm reinstated. I'm currently recognized as the WBO champion. The WBC, unfortunately, is it's like a whole situation. But I mean, I'm just focused on, healing mentally and psychologically and moving forward. I have people fighting those kind of battles for me, and I do continue to use my voice because that situation kind of set the precedence for other females in the future, other big names, and it's kind of fucked up because what if it was a Claressa or a Katie Taylor that this happened to? Or even a Layla Ali with this, with the same path to be taken, would they be treated the way I'm treated? So I just do what I can do.
Can you outline it for people that don't know the story but will watch this? So you don't have the WBC belt now, which you should as well.
Yeah, so my fight is was declared a no contest on February 20th after 2 failed drug tests. Once again, it was declared a no contest by the Texas Commission on March 6th. So when it's a no contest, it means the fight never happened, and basically the belts should be returned to the rightful owner because they weren't vacant. I was in possession of both belts, but um, the WBO reinstated me and gave my belt back due to the no contest, but the WBC has yet to do so. And they're saying because of a due process and the Texas Commission. So, I am who I am. My goal is to build my name. The fighters make the belts, and my name is in the history books, and it would be amazing to have the belt back. But I can't force an organization to give me something, even though I earned it. And whatever they see fit, that's what it is.
Have you reached out to Mauricio Sulaiman, you personally, to get an explanation from him?
We've had a conversation. What they put out on the internet about us being reviewed by their process, and I'm not super clear on their process, the WBC's process, but I know the WBO, the Texas Commission has ruled it a no contest. So, I have so much love for the WBC and some great experiences, and it's their belt. That's all I can say is their belt. I'm still ranked number one in their rankings, but I don't know. I just have to keep positive and keep moving forward.
Do you have a lot of women reaching out to you as a role model since you've been much more visible in the last 4 years?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I've always kind of been an ambassador for women's boxing, even in the amateurs. I've created friendships around the world with different fighters, different people in the sport. And like you said, now that my platform's a little bigger, I've been blessed with like connecting with so many people, men, women, kids, and those are the things that actually keep me motivated because situations like what I'm going through for my titles, it gets discouraging. But having the little girls or like little boys or like people who's fighting a health issue reach out to me. That means so much to me and keeps me moving forward.
Are you interested in having a super middleweight rematch with Claressa Shields? And do you see Layla Ali, rather like Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield in men's boxing? Layla Ali's talking about a comeback. Now, I covered her career, believe it or not, way back when you really were a little girl in school. I covered all her early fights, 1999, Turning Stone Casino Resort, all over the place. Her against Joe Frazier's daughter, Jackie Frazier Lied, in a circus tent in Syracuse with the old there and Tito Trinidad, and it was an incredible night. It was, I mean, when you hear Layla Ali's coming back, does that interest you? When you hear talk of maybe, so I mean, I'm suggesting it, Claressa Shields at super middleweight, are you interested in these fights?
Well, I think like Claressa, and you know, those were great times, and she did some amazing, like she broke some barriers. She was the first woman to have the super middleweight title from the WBC, and as a Black woman, you know, that's an honor for me to be the fifth woman. I mean, talk is cheap. I'm still a fighter, and she's still a fighter. She has that fighter's mentality, and you know, if she wants to come back and fight, it's a couple of girls who will be more than welcome to welcome her, and I'll be one of them. But yeah, I mean, hey, why not? If Bernard Hopkins can do it, and Tyson and all these other gentlemen, bring your ass back on. Let's get it.
Well, talking about that, you did an amazing photo shoot the other day. We've only seen, I think, a couple of photos, or maybe just one from it, where you're looking very sassy. It's amazing angles. You look oiled almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were you oiled?
Yeah, I couldn't be too oiled because it's designer garments, and I didn't want to damage them. But yeah.
But great photographs. I mean, who took those? Was it in a studio?
Is that the one in the blue?
We're in your heels, your dress. It's on social media.
Pictures I put up. One of them was at a studio, and the other one was like an impromptu shot, photo shoot at my godfather's loft. So I mean, I've been doing this a very long time, so I know my angles. I know how to make the garment work. And like some people, I'm more photogenic than probably in real life, because I know what works for me. The camera's my friend, but like at other times, I hate that camera. But
everybody has those insecurities, don't they? But that's part of why you were really making a statement with that photo, though, that I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, I know I posted one that I was unfuckable with.
Hashtag unfuckable with. Yeah. Talk to us about that.
You know, you come, and actually that garment I was wearing was something that I made personally. That was from my line. And you come into this game with so many expectations, and we talked about reflecting during the quarantine. And I've been at this for a very long time at a very high level. And I feel like I'm starting to get this Marvin Hagler treatment. You know, I know everybody has their own lane, but I feel like the game is trying to discredit me and think they could do whatever they want because I may have taken a different route, because I don't have like a Eddie Hearn backing me, or, you know, being so vocal about me, or have like a Tom Loeffler that's always behind me. You know, I go hard for myself because nobody else believed in me but myself and like my husband and a few others. So, you know, I know the game is tired of me, and people, they took my belt because they knew if they gave it back, they weren't going to get it back. So I feel like they just going to have to deal with it. That's the mentality I've had, the epiphany I've had during this quarantine. Like, y'all don't have to like me. You're going to respect me, and you're just going to have to deal with me until my time is up. Win, lose, or draw, you just got to deal with me. So I'm unfuckable with.
Yeah, whoa. I love it. I love it. And that's the woman that I met in Vegas that night after fighting Claressa, was out in her unfuckable with gear. Boom. So Tom's still looking after Tom Loeffler, who looks after Gennady Golovkin and others, yeah?
Yes, Cecilia Brækhus and others.
So yes, Cecilia, we're hoping she's going to come here and fight Katie Taylor at some point soon. What's the issue with Eddie Hearn then and you?
Oh, I had no issue with him when he did his card here in DC. I have no personal issue with him. Like, I
Okay.
just feel like he has to understand. I know he's doing his job as a promoter. You're supposed to promote your fighters to the fullest. Like, I wish I was getting that. You know, shout out to Golden Boy. They show me a lot of love. They show me love. But the way he goes hard for Katie Taylor, um, and I don't think he knows like the history of a lot of the amateur women's boxing because I lived it. You know what I'm saying? I was there. And you know, Katie's done some amazing things. Like I looked up to her when I came out. She was amazing then, but he made a statement saying that she's the only reason women's boxing was in the Olympics, and that's not true. So that was the only issue I had. But I mean, other than that, he's amazing. I love Katie, um, and he's doing a great job with what he, you know, with Matchroom.
Did you have you thought about having a fight in the UK and coming here? Because I think you'd be very popular here, you know?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to fight in London years ago, like what is it, 2011? It was a test event for the London Olympic
Olympics,
Games,
yeah, yeah.
and I
I
came to.
as a pro, I mean, as a pro,
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I love the world is so big. And when I was in London, the fashion was amazing. Everything was prim and proper. So I would love to come to the UK and fight. You know what I'm saying? But you know, make sure it's worth my while. Like
yeah.
you know, I gotta get the queen treatment. I'm not Queen Elizabeth, but you know, the heavy hitting divas coming. So make sure you show me a good time and treat me right. But yeah, I think you know, if I'm a world champion, I'm not just USA. I'm a world champion. So if my UK fans want to see me, I'll come. You know.
When you mentioned Marvin Hagler just now, is he, do you think, the male boxer who most resembles you?
My husband is a pro boxer, and my husband is also a historian on. He's a young historian on boxing. He makes me watch videos. He tells me story because this is a sport he loves, and he's you know, when I express my feelings on how I'm feeling or how I feel like boxing's treating me and stuff, and he's like, you kind of have that, you get that Marvin Hagler treatment. And he said like a lot of the great ones have left in the prime. We had this conversation today, you know, Barry Sanders in football, Marvin Hagler in boxing. And I said, I don't want to take that route. I don't want to retire or anything, but I'm not going to sit back and keep letting them push me to the side or keep letting them discredit me like I don't work my ass off. Like I'm not going harder than half these people, you know. But you know, I work closely with Bernard Hopkins, and he's taken, you know, the same route I've taken with business and just boxing and having to fight, you know, take the rough route. So yeah, I mean, like fighters like that, I feel like I can relate to a lot.
Can you get a word in with Bernard Hopkins when you're talking to him? Because I can't.
Yeah, if he gets sleepy, you know he old now.
Oh, he's not as bad. So you can actually get a word in when you're talking with him. Oh, good.
Yeah, but it's if you catch him on something he's super passionate about, no, you're not gonna get a word. But be it as though I'm talking to a living legend,
Yeah,
I try to listen a lot more than I talk because he knows a lot of shit, so I listen.
correct. No, he's one of the great legends. You know, I've had him prodding me in the chest before, telling me things.
Yeah.
No, he's brilliant. Um, Listen, it's absolutely brilliant to see you. Final thing, what's your plan for coming back? When do you think you'll be fighting? Well, two things. When do you think you'll be fighting? Are you prepared to fight behind closed doors if you have to? And would that be on, which platform would that be on? Showtime or ESPN or what? Tell me that route that you've
Okay,
got.
so I'm with Golden Boy, and they have their deal with the Zone, and their first fight announced for the most part is Ryan Garcia in July 4th. So I would look to fight as you know while I get my legal situation settled. You know, like the third quarter of 2020, which is July, August, September.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I would love to fight around that time. I have no issue fighting behind closed doors. I mean, people would be able to pay attention to us more. I think it'll be intense and it's safe for the people at home. you know, long as I get to fight and the people can see me, that's amazing. I started from the bottom. It's nothing. And yeah, I'm prepared to do whatever. I'm prepared to do whatever.
Well, heavy hitting diva, it's absolutely brilliant to see you. You look incredibly well. Thank you very much for the time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you.
Thank you. And I can't wait to see this interview. Thank you. I love your picture in the background too.
Thank you.
I'm gonna screenshot. I don't know how to do this, but